Good evening, welcome to ITV News. This is Monday's calendar with Christine Talbot and David Hurst.
And here are tonight's main stories. But first, the £22 million footbridge over the A63 linking Hull city centre with the waterfront has finally been completed and opened to the public. It's 4 years later than planned, but it could be just in time for the city's COVID-hit businesses.
Yes, it's hoped the newly named Murdoch's Connection will be the start of Hull's path towards economic recovery, boosting access to the ports, while also better connecting the city centre and marina for shoppers. Jonathan Brown reports.
And more of the day's news now. Detectives are appealing for information after 4 puppies were stolen at knife point from a Sheffield flat. The Hull trains will resume its services from the 12th of April. They've been suspended since January due to the third national lockdown. But that also means they haven't been eligible for support funding like much of the hospitality industry that closed down. Businesses like Lincoln Laundry that supplies hotels say they've fallen through the cracks. Here's Martin Fisher. Well, a little earlier I spoke to Katrina Pearce from the Lincolnshire Federation of Small Businesses, and I started by asking her about how many businesses are finding themselves falling through the gaps in support. Well, the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30. Here's a look at what's happening with Mary Nightingale. Mary, thanks very much. Now, every week during pre-COVID times, thousands of people around our region used to take to the streets to collect for good causes or spend their free time helping in charity shops.
Right, thank you. Now, time for the sport. Well, some big news for South Yorkshire football this morning. Doncaster manager Darren Moore defected to join Sheffield Wednesday. Chris, was this a surprise?
Certainly was, David. It caught us all.
Was this a good appointment for Sheffield Wednesday, Chris?
Christine, only time will tell, I guess. But he's got a good reputation. Attacking force. Well, I spoke to a couple of fans earlier. Victoria.
So what now for Donny, Chris? Because they've gone off the boil a little bit, haven't they? The kiss of death on them, but what a turnaround for Barnsley from last season.
Incredible. So they could get promoted to the Premier League. Stranger things have happened.
Chris, thank you. Now, the coronavirus lockdown has left many of us looking for a new hobby, and it turns out a lot have found the answer in the garden. But the increased interest has led some retailers having to temporarily suspend orders to catch up with the surge in orders.
Well, seed retailers say demand has been up to 10 times normal levels at points during the pandemic, and that, coupled with problems in getting hold of seeds, has led to a shortage, as Otis Holmes reports.
You know, I think I could become green-fingered if I had one of those machines that just put your seed
easier,
in a pot and then covered it up for you.
Very clever, very clever. Now, finally tonight, it's only been just over a week since a world record breaker from Yorkshire completed the challenge of single-handedly rowing across the Atlantic, but already the next wave of competitors are putting their oar in for next year.
Yes, Jasmine Harrison became the youngest woman at 21 to finish the Talisker Challenge. She finished it after just over 70 days of rowing, but now a mixed international team, including an architect from Sheffield, have the record books in their sights, as Grace Melody Garden has been finding out. Can you imagine Baby Shark all the way across the Atlantic?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's Kerry with the weather. Kerry, thank you, and that's it from us. Our next update is at 10:30.
The national and international stories are next with Mary Nightingale.
But for now, from the team here on Calendar, thanks very much indeed for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now. Good evening, welcome to ITV News. This is Calendar with David Hurst and Christine Talbot.
And here are tonight's main stories. But first, to warnings that we're currently sitting on a knife edge in terms of the roadmap out of lockdown, and that flouting the restrictions could cost us dearly.
It comes after Coast Guards revealed a truly shocking breach of the rules on the North Yorkshire coast this weekend. A family of 3 wild camping with their tent pitched just yards from a cliff edge.
Meanwhile, there were signs not everyone was socially distancing as large crowds flocked to enjoy the sun at local parks and beauty spots. Sam Casey has our top story tonight.
Well, for full details of the current COVID restrictions as well. Now, you may remember Evie's story. She has a rare blood condition called aplastic anemia. Her story captured the hearts of the nation back in September when a donor dropped out at the last minute. And now her family hope her story will encourage more people to sign up to the bone marrow register. Katie Cole has the story.
And how great it is to see her doing so well, isn't it?
It is. We've got the Savoy, Buckingham Palace and Mauritius.
Very ambitious.
On her bucket list. Definitely hope all those things happen, Evie. Great to see you. Now, still to come on Calendar tonight. The organisers of the Great Yorkshire Show have announced that it will go ahead this year if the roadmap out of lockdown isn't delayed. Now, we've heard a lot about how charities have suffered through lockdown, but what about the thousands of volunteers who take to the streets with collecting tins or work in their shops? Thank you, Mary. Time for the sport now. Well, some big news for South Yorkshire football today. Doncaster manager Darren Moore defected to join Sheffield Wednesday. Chris is with us now. Chris, was that a surprise?
Certainly.
As you say, all kinds of problems at Wednesday, at the moment. Is this a good appointment for them?
That's a Bromwich Albion when they were fourth in the Championship table. And
What now for Doncaster?
it leaves them in.
I'm probably tempting Providence here, but what a great season Barnsley are having so far.
And you know what? They could go up. Stranger things have happened.
Watch this.
Well, let's return to our top story tonight, and that's a warning from experts that despite new optimism as infection rates fall, people must continue following lockdown rules.
Well, it follows a weekend when one family was fined for wild camping just yards from a North Yorkshire cliff top, and there were scenes of gridlocks around some of our parks and beauty spots.
Well, lots of you have been sharing your views on our Facebook page for all your comments.
But next tonight, to a big upshoot in the sale of plant seeds and plants and seeds, with many of us venturing into our back gardens in search of a new lockdown-friendly hobby. It's got to the point where some online retailers are actually having to suspend orders while they catch up with a surge in demand. But Otis Holmes has been speaking to one expert in North Yorkshire who says you can get the right results if you're prepared to shop around. And finally tonight, the Iraq war veteran who's taking on an epic challenge to raise money for charity, Simon Brown from Morley, plans to walk 874 miles, the equivalent of the length of Britain, to support the charity that helped him rebuild his life. Well, Simon, as we know, lost his sight after being shot in the face as he led a mission to recover 6 stranded colleagues in Iraq 15 years ago. Chris Kiddie joined him as he set out on his trek from home this afternoon, and we should warn you his report contains images of Simon's injuries, which some may find distressing. He is such an incredible man, isn't he? He is, and you would not bet against him, would you? He'll do it, and I'm sure he will bust that fundraising target. Anyway, Kerry's here now with the weather. Best of luck, Simon. Kerry, thank you. And that's it from us. Our next update is at 10:30. The national and international stories are next with Mary Nightingale. But for now, from the team here on Calendar, thanks very much indeed for watching. Bye-bye.